This presentation, titled The Various Food Safety Standards and Schemes, How Do You Know Which is Appropriate for Different Organizations, comes to us from Dijana Green. Dijana has worked in the food industry for 29 years and carries a very reputable background in leading quality and food safety within the industry. She's a food technologist and holds positions such as executive member of the Australian Society Baking Committee and a manufacturing representative on the Silica board. Dijana is also an international auditor, consultant, trainer, and recently became a contract auditor for Jazans. She started her food safety career in 1989 with George Weston Foods. Her responsibilities over the years have ranged from quality through to National Quality Assurance Manager, Baking Division for Goodman Fielder, managing 44 bakeries nationally. These roles were very hands-on, both operationally and commercially. Dijana founded Elevating Food Safety in March 2009. Elevating Food Safety is one of Australia's most trusted companies in the food and beverage industry, serving as a one-stop technical service, working with manufacturers, retailers, food service, hotels, quick service restaurants, event companies, restaurants, warehouses, and distribution networks. Elevating Food Safety works with hundreds of clients ranging from low, medium, to high-risk facilities. Elevating Food Safety provides services, including quality and food safety systems, including gap and benchmarking audits, nutritional services, process improvement, quality and food safety boutique training, and recruitment of quality, operations, and executive professionals within Australia, Fiji, New Zealand, and Asia. And with that, take it away, Dijana.
Thank you, Mike. Who is Dijana Green? I'm the founder and the owner of Elevating Food Safety, which is a consulting, training, and recruiting organisation, and also most recently of the last couple of years, the director of NFSC Proprietary Limited, which is a supplier auditing organisation. My background, I'm a food scientist. I've been consulting and training now for, oh goodness me, a while, 30 years. Been lead auditor since owning the business of NFSC. That's been the last 3 years that I've taken on that key role with the supplier audits. And I also do recruiting, mainly headhunting. As Mike said, I'm a contract Jazans auditor. Jazans are the joint Australia and New Zealand certification body, and they audit the certification bodies and they audit the auditors. So I work with them as well. I'm the lead auditor for Yum in Australia and New Zealand. And as Mike said, I'm on the board of Silica and on the Australian Society of Baking. So what do I do when I'm not working? Spend most of my time working, but when I have some time, I'm with the family. We love to spend time outdoors. And I can say that I am a proud wife and mother of 6 children. The youngest is 17 months and the eldest is turning 21 in February. So they certainly keep me very busy and youthful. So today, it's a pleasure to be here with you, and I'm here to talk about the various standards and schemes that are available in the industry. And I hope that you can learn quite a few things from the presentation that I have for you. So mainly what I'll be going through is what are the different schemes, standards, and how do you know which is appropriate for your organisation or different organisations. So you've all heard of HACCP, ISO 22000, FSSC 22000, BRC, and SQF. They're the most common that I tend to work with across Australia, New Zealand, and even throughout Asia. These are just some of the food safety systems that are available, but like I said, they're the most common ones that we tend to work with. The food safety system that's most appropriate for the organisation is generally decided by the organisation or the customer. There's nobody better but you as the leading head of quality in your organisation to decide what standard is best suitable for your business and which program standard you'll be rolling out. If the choice isn't yours, then your customer will decide. The organisation will make the decision based on the food safety management system that's most suitable for the product, the type of business, the product risk, and what your customers are looking for. Sometimes in organisations, if it's a small organisation, it may be up to the quality manager to make the decision. Maybe the owner of the organisation will decide. It could also be the head of quality in a national business with a multifaceted site, or it could be your corporate team, and they may make the decision based on all the sites where they're based and the risk to the product and the business. Sometimes the customer will insist that you implement a certain standard to supply. If the customer makes that decision, it's always based on food safety, reducing the food safety risk and minimising product recalls to ultimately protect the consumer. This is the reason that the customers will decide what standard is best to implement in your organisation, particularly if you're making branded products for your customer. Generally, customers like a GFSI standard to be in place, and then they will add their specific business requirements to that. GFSI approved standards are ideal as they're internationally recognised, and they certainly carry a lot more weight than implementing a standard that is not GFSI approved. So what is GFSI, you're thinking? The Global Food Safety Initiative. The Global Food Safety Initiative is a private organisation. It's been established and managed by the International Trade Association, the Consumer Goods Forum under the Belgium law back in May 2000. The GFSI maintain a scheme to benchmark food safety standards and manufacturers as well as farm assurance standards. If your organisation would like to get a GFSI benchmark, a GFSI tick of approval, then you can submit your standard to them and they will review. If it does get approved, then that means your standard can be used by anybody in the world. Which food safety management standard are GFSI approved? Well, you've got BRC, SQF and FSSC 22000, and most recently, Primus GFS has become a recognised scheme for the certification for the produce sector. HACCP. What is HACCP? HACCP is a food safety management system in which addresses through the analysis and control of biological, chemical and physical hazards, from raw material, production, procurement, handling to manufacturing, distributing of the product and the consumption of your finished product. The application is designed to be used in all segments of the food industry. It can be used in growing, harvesting, processing, manufacturing, distribution, merchandising to prepare food for consumption. So HACCP can be applied anywhere. HACCP can even be applied for food service providers, such as pest control companies, chemical providers, calibration companies, even engineering contractors. So anybody that provides any service in the food industry can apply HACCP to their business. Food safety systems are based on the HACCP principles that have been successfully applied in the food processing plants, retail food stores, and food service operations. What is ISO 22000? ISO 22000 is a food management system that can be applied to any organisation in the food industry. When we talk about food, we mean beverage and packaging as well. The application of ISO 22000 can be applied independently of other management systems or integrated with existing management systems. ISO 22000 integrates the principles of the hazard analysis and critical control point system and application steps developed by the Codex Alimentarius Commission. What is FSSC 22000? FSSC 22000 is a food safety system certification. It's an internationally accepted certification scheme based on a combination of ISO 22000 and PRP's prerequisite programs and FSSC additional requirements. The certification scheme is owned by the Foundation for Food Safety Certification. The application of FSSC 22000 is used to control food safety risks. Food safety certification requirements provide a rigorous system to manage food safety risks and provide safe products for use by mostly food manufacturers, beverage and packaging companies in the food industry. And this is quite commonly used overseas in Europe and places like South Africa. It's used across Australia and New Zealand, which I am involved in, but it's not as common as it is overseas. What is Primus GFS? Primus GFS, it's a global food safety initiative, as I mentioned earlier. It's been benchmarked and fully recognised as a certification program covering both GAP and GMP scopes, as well as food safety management systems. Okay, so that's basically based on agricultural practices and GMP, good manufacturing practices. Application of Primus GFS offers certification to plant growers' operations, post-harvest management, and minimally processed plant products. The application of Primus GFS is a recognised audit scheme for the certification of the produce sector, from growing operations to minimally processed fresh cut produce products. The scheme is endorsed by over 7,000 organisations and provides total produce supply chain coverage. In July 2018, the GFSI Board of Directors announced that Primus GFS had achieved recognition against version 7.1 of the GFSI benchmarking requirements. If Primus GFS is new to you, this is why it's just recently been approved by GFSI. What is BRC? BRC is an internationally recognised GFSI program. It is also a food safety management system standard. It contains requirements for food processors to follow to build an effective food safety management system. Over 16,000 facilities worldwide are certified to BRC, global standard for food safety. BRC, British Retail Consortium, global standard for food safety, was created to ensure supplier compliance and secure retailers' ability to guarantee the quality and the safety of the products that they are selling. The application of BRC is used worldwide as a framework for any business, both retailers and processors, to assist the production of safe food and the selection of reliable suppliers for the retailers. What is SQF? SQF is a food safety management certification scheme created and managed by the SQF Institute, used to control food safety risks. The application of SQF, the code, meets the needs of all suppliers in the food industry through an internationally recognised certification system. In summary, HACCP standard is a food safety management system that can be applied in food and beverage manufacturing, retail, food service providers, packaging and warehouses. And like I also mentioned, any service providers in the food industry, beverage industry or packaging industry. For example, pest controllers, engineering companies, chemical providers, even recruiters. We've seen HACCP certification be achieved by them, so they can understand the application of food safety and is there any risk that they're bringing into the organisation. BRC standard has a focus on quality food safety and the legal requirements, allowing this to be applied. It's also commonly applied in food and beverage. In retail, the retailers like to support this program being implemented in these areas. It can be implemented in the food service industry by food service providers, packaging and warehouse companies as well. The FSSC 22000 targets its focus on food safety and legal compliance. FSSC 22000 is commonly applied in the food and beverage manufacturing and packaging companies. The SQF code has 2 levels of requirements. Level 2 focuses on food safety and level 3 on food safety and quality. SQF is commonly applied in food and beverage manufacturing, packaging and warehousing. Primus GFS certification program covers both the GAP and the GMP scopes. GAP, which is the agricultural practices and good manufacturing practices scopes, as well as food safety management systems, and is commonly applied in the fresh produce sector. Just before I bring this to a close, these standards that I've just gone through, like I said, they're commonly known and used in the industry. Depending on the nature of the organisation, it will assist you to decide which is the best standard to implement. There's a lot of literature, there's a lot of bodies that you can Google online that can help you understand more about the programs. You can download free material, and you could also speak to some of your major customers and get their understanding of what their requirements may be if you're in a situation to make the call. Using the GFSI approved standard, like I said, has greater weight than implementing a standard that does not have GFSI approval. It's worth reviewing, it's worth doing your homework and finding the most suitable standard for your business based on business type, product risk, or what your customers might be looking for. So in summary, I hope you've enjoyed your time with me this afternoon, and it's been an absolute pleasure spending this time with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me or email me with the questions that you may have. Thank you. There are my contact details for you.
Well, thank you, Dijana Green, for that look at the various food safety standards and schemes. And that concludes this presentation.